The night feels heavier lately, doesn't it? Like the world gets quieter, but your thoughts get louder. And maybe that's why you found this tonight. Not by accident, not randomly, because there was something your soul needed to hear before sleep. Something heaven needed to whisper into the part of you that has been silently breaking. So before you close your eyes, before you convince yourself to survive one more exhausting day tomorrow, listen carefully, because something big is about to change your life. Not someday, not years from now, soon. And deep down, you already feel it. You feel it in the strange ache in your chest, in the exhaustion that doesn't fully make sense, in the way your spirit has been fighting to hold on even when your mind wanted to quit. You thought you were just tired, but what if you were actually standing at the edge of a breakthrough? What if this pressure, this confusion, this delay was never the end of your story? What if everything is about to shift? Tonight, I need you to breathe for a moment. Slow down, because I know how heavy this season has been for you. I saw you staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., trying not to cry because you were too emotionally exhausted to explain your pain anymore. I saw you sitting in your car after work, not turning the engine on yet, just sitting there in silence because it felt safer than going inside and pretending to be okay again. I saw the smile you forced in crowded rooms, the "I'm fine" you kept repeating, the way you carry invisible pain so well that nobody realizes how close you've been to breaking. But I know about the nights you begged for one sign that your life still mattered. I know about the prayers you stopped finishing because disappointment made you tired of hoping. I know about the fear you never say out loud, the fear that maybe nothing will ever change, that maybe this is just your life now, struggling, waiting, surviving, watching other people move forward while your own life feels frozen. And slowly, that feeling started turning into something dangerous. Numbness. You stopped expecting good news, stopped getting excited, stopped dreaming the way you used to. Because disappointment trained your heart to protect itself. So now, even when opportunities appear, even when people encourage you, part of you whispers, "What's the point?" You've been carrying exhaustion that sleep cannot fix, because this isn't just physical tiredness. It's soul exhaustion, the kind that comes from fighting silent battles for too long, the kind that comes from being strong for everybody else while secretly praying someone would notice you're drowning too. And the hardest part? You kept blaming yourself. You thought maybe you weren't trying hard enough. Maybe you weren't faithful enough. Maybe you missed your chance. Maybe you ruined your future somehow. But listen to me carefully tonight. You are not forgotten. You are not cursed. And your story is not over. What you've been feeling lately, that strange tension, that emotional pressure, that restlessness in your spirit, it is not meaningless. Something is shifting, even now, even while you feel stuck, especially while you feel stuck, because some of the biggest changes in your life begin invisibly, like seeds under dark soil. Nothing looks different at first. Nothing feels different. But underneath the surface, everything is preparing to break open. And that's where you are right now. You think nothing is happening because you cannot see it yet. But heaven has been moving pieces you never knew existed. Doors are shifting. People are shifting. Opportunities are shifting. Timing is shifting. And most importantly, you are shifting. That version of you that settled for survival, it's fading. That version of you that believed you had no future, it's dying. That exhausted soul who thought they were abandoned, they are about to discover they were being carried the entire time. I know the waiting has hurt you. I know delayed answers made you question whether I was listening at all. But I need you to understand something tonight. The enemy wanted your exhaustion to convince you that your future disappeared. That's why the attacks became so emotional. That's why your mind became so heavy at night. That's why discouragement kept showing up right before moments that were supposed to strengthen you. There has been a battle over your hope, a battle over your identity, a battle over your future, because there are things attached to your life that darkness is afraid of. You thought you were weak because you've been struggling so much. But sometimes the strongest people are the ones who kept going while secretly falling apart inside. And you kept going. Even when you were tired, even when you felt invisible, even when nobody checked on you, even when your own heart felt confused, you kept going. Do you understand how powerful that is? Most people have no idea how close you came to giving up. They don't know how many nights you cried silently so nobody would hear. They don't know how much courage it took just to wake up and function. But heaven saw every second of it, every silent prayer, every shaking breath, every exhausted tear. None of it was wasted. And tonight, I need you to stop measuring your life only by what has not happened yet. Because while you were focused on the closed doors, you missed how much stronger you became surviving them. You missed the wisdom forming inside you, the compassion, the endurance, the emotional depth, the resilience. You are not the same person you were before this pain. And one day, you will realize this season did not come to destroy you. It came to prepare you. I know you're tired of hearing phrases like, just have faith. Because right now, you don't need shallow words. You need something real. So let me speak to the deepest part of you tonight. You are closer to breakthrough than you realize. Closer than your emotions can currently understand. Sometimes life becomes the darkest right before everything changes. And I know you've heard that before too. But this time feels different, doesn't it? Something inside you knows it. You've felt moments lately where peace suddenly appeared for no reason. Moments where hope quietly returned even after weeks of heaviness. Moments where your spirit whispered, hold on a little longer. That wasn't random. That was me. Because while you thought you were abandoned, I was rebuilding parts of you that pain tried to destroy. I was healing the parts nobody could see. The insecure parts, the fearful parts, the exhausted parts, the rejected parts. You spent years trying to earn love from people who could never see your worth clearly. You shrank yourself to keep others comfortable. You apologized for your emotions, apologized for your needs, apologized for existing too loudly, and slowly, you forgot who you were. But hear me tonight. You were never created to live feeling invisible. You were never meant to merely survive. There is purpose inside you that pain could not kill. There is beauty inside you that rejection could not erase. There is strength inside you that exhaustion could not destroy. And there is still time, so much more time than you think. Your life is not behind schedule. You are not too late. You did not miss your moment. Some things had to fall apart first. Some people had to leave first. Some illusions had to break first. Because where you are going next, you cannot carry the same fear anymore. And that's why this season has felt like emotional surgery. Painful, slow, exhausting, but necessary. I know you feel behind in life sometimes. You compare your timeline to everybody else's. You wonder why things seem easier for them, why love found them, why opportunities found them, why peace found them. Meanwhile, you've been fighting just to feel okay. But what you cannot see is that your story is being built differently. Deep souls are often formed in lonely seasons. The people who carry the most light usually survived very dark nights first, and your nights have been dark. You've questioned yourself so many times, questioned your value, your purpose, your future, your ability to keep going. But look at you, you're still here, still breathing, still listening, still hoping somewhere beneath the exhaustion. That matters more than you know, and I need you to hear this clearly tonight. The chapter you are entering will not look like the chapter you survived. The heaviness will not last forever. The confusion will not last forever. The loneliness will not last forever. There are conversations coming that will change things. There are opportunities moving towards you. There are unexpected answers already forming. There is peace preparing to enter your life in ways you cannot predict yet. And one morning, you are going to wake up and realize you no longer feel trapped inside your own sadness. You're going to breathe differently, sleep differently, hope differently, because healing happens quietly at first. Like sunlight slowly entering a dark room, you don't notice the brightness immediately, but eventually, everything changes. And I know you're scared to believe again, because hope feels dangerous after disappointment. You're afraid that if you expect good things, you'll just get hurt again. So you protect yourself by expecting nothing. But beloved, that is not living. You were not created to spend your whole life emotionally bracing for pain. There is still joy ahead of you. Real joy. Not fake smiles, not temporary distractions. The kind of peace that reaches deep into your soul and finally lets you rest. I know you crave rest. Not just sleep. Rest from overthinking. Rest from fear. Rest from survival mode. Rest from constantly carrying everybody else emotionally. You've been strong for so long. But even strong people need comfort too. So tonight, let these words sit softly over your heart. You do not have to carry tomorrow alone. You do not have to figure out your entire future tonight. You do not have to solve every problem before you deserve peace. Breathe. The pressure is not yours to carry by yourself anymore. I know your heart has been overwhelmed by uncertainty, finances, relationships, your future, your purpose. Sometimes it feels like life paused while everyone else kept moving. And secretly, that embarrassed you. You wondered if people could see your struggle. You felt ashamed that you're still trying to rebuild parts of your life that others seem to have mastered already. But your worth was never determined by your current season. You are not less valuable because you're struggling. You are not less lovable because you feel lost. And you are not failing because your breakthrough took longer than expected. Some miracles take time because they involve rebuilding the soul too, not just changing circumstances. And your soul has needed healing, deep healing. Healing from rejection, healing from betrayal, healing from disappointment, healing from constantly feeling like you had to earn your place in people's hearts. That pain changed how you see yourself. It made you question whether you're truly worthy of good things. But listen carefully. You do not have to beg for the love already meant for you. You do not have to chase what heaven already assigned to your life. What belongs to you will find you at the right time, in the right way, and no amount of delay can cancel what was written for your future. That's why the enemy worked so hard to exhaust you emotionally. Because tired people stop believing. Tired people stop dreaming. Tired people start settling for survival. But tonight something is waking back up inside you, not loud at first, just a quiet flicker, a tiny spark, but sparks become fire. And your story is not ending in this dark season. I know there were moments recently where you felt emotionally numb. Moments where you couldn't even cry anymore because you were beyond tears. You just sat there in silence, staring at nothing, wondering how life became so heavy, and maybe nobody noticed. Maybe nobody realized how hard you were fighting internally. But I noticed. I stayed. Even in the moments you thought I was silent, especially then. I was sitting with you in the darkness, holding together the parts of you that trauma tried to scatter. You survived things that changed you, things you rarely talk about. Some wounds were caused by people you trusted, some by words you never forgot, some by abandonment, some by constantly feeling like you were never enough. And eventually, you became exhausted from carrying invisible grief. But hear me now, you are not what happened to you. You are not the rejection. You are not the betrayal. You are not the failure. You are not the delay. You are still mine, still chosen, still deeply loved, even now, especially now. And there is something beautiful about the version of you that survived. Not because the pain was beautiful, but because your heart somehow remains soft after everything. You still care, still love, still hope, still long for peace. That is strength, real strength. The world taught you that strength means never breaking, but sometimes strength is simply waking up one more day without knowing how you'll make it through. And you did that again and again. I need you to stop insulting yourself for being tired. Anyone carrying what you've carried would feel exhausted too. You've been surviving emotional storms while pretending skies were clear. No wonder your soul feels worn out. But exhaustion is not your final destination. This season is ending. Can you feel it? The atmosphere around your life is changing, not because of luck, because breakthrough seasons often begin quietly. First comes the discomfort, then the shaking, then the release, and you've been in the shaking. Old beliefs are collapsing, old fears are losing power, old cycles are breaking, even if you cannot fully see it yet. There are habits you're about to outgrow, relationships you're about to heal from, versions of yourself you're about to leave behind forever. And yes, that transition feels uncomfortable. Growth often does. Because part of you became familiar with survival mode. You became used to expecting disappointment, used to emotional loneliness, used to carrying burdens silently. So peace almost feels unfamiliar now. But peace is coming anyway, not temporary peace. Deep peace, the kind that reaches your nervous system, the kind that lets your shoulders finally relax, the kind that reminds your heart it no longer has to panic all the time. I know your mind has been noisy lately, so many thoughts, so many worries. What if nothing changes? What if I fail? What if I stay stuck forever? What if I'm running out of time? But fear is a liar that speaks loudest when your breakthrough is near. And your breakthrough is nearer than you think. One phone call can change your life. One opportunity can change your direction. One moment of courage can change your future. One season can rewrite everything. Do not underestimate what can happen suddenly. You've spent so long expecting loss that you forgot miracles can arrive unexpectedly too. Blessings can appear quickly. Healing can happen gradually, and then all at once. And the version of you waiting on the other side of this season, you won't even recognize how free they feel. There will come a night where you lie in bed peacefully instead of overthinking. A morning where anxiety does not immediately grip your chest. A season where you stop chasing validation because you finally understand your worth. A day where laughter returns naturally, not forced, real. And when that day comes, you will realize I never abandoned you in the darkness. I was guiding you through it, preparing you for a life that required a healed version of you. Because where you are going, you cannot hate yourself anymore. You cannot keep shrinking yourself anymore. You cannot keep believing you are unwanted. You are needed here. Your life matters more than you know. There are people who will someday survive because you survived. People who will feel seen because you learned how to love deeply through pain. Nothing you endured was meaningless. Even this exhaustion has a story. Even this waiting has purpose. I know you wanted immediate answers, immediate relief, immediate change. But some transformations happen internally before they appear externally. And your inner world has been rebuilding piece by piece. That's why you've started craving peace more than approval. That's why certain environments suddenly feel heavy now. That's why your spirit feels restless in places that once distracted you. You are changing, outgrowing, awakening, and although it feels uncomfortable, it is holy. You're entering a season where clarity will replace confusion, where confidence will slowly replace fear, where purpose will silence insecurity. You will not stay emotionally stuck forever. You will not cry forever. You will not feel abandoned forever. The storm has an ending, and I know there were moments you almost quit. Moments where you wondered if anyone would even notice if you disappeared emotionally. That loneliness cut deeply. But hear this tonight. Your existence has meaning beyond what you currently understand. There is still beauty waiting for you, still connection waiting for you, still peace waiting for you, still life waiting for you. So do not give up 5 minutes before the miracle arrives. Do not let temporary darkness convince you permanent hopelessness is your destiny. This story is still unfolding, and heaven is not finished with you yet. I need you to stop speaking death over your future. Stop calling yourself broken beyond repair. Stop assuming your best days already passed. You are entering a rebuilding season, a healing season, a restoration season, a season where the things that nearly destroyed you will no longer control you. Little by little, your confidence will return. Your smile will return. Your energy will return. Your passion will return. And yes, your hope will return too. I know you miss the old version of yourself sometimes, the lighter version, the joyful version, the hopeful version. Pain changed you, but healing can change you again. You are not trapped this way forever. And one day, you will look back at this season with tears in your eyes because you'll realize how close you were to breakthrough while thinking you were falling apart. You were not being buried. You were being planted. There is a difference. Buried things stay hidden forever. Planted things rise again. And you are about to rise again. Stronger, softer, wiser, more peaceful, more whole. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because your soul finally remembered who you are. You are deeply loved. Not tolerated, not barely accepted, loved, even in your exhaustion, even in your confusion, even in your unfinished healing, especially there. So tonight, let your heart unclench a little. You do not have to carry the weight of the entire future before sleep. You do not need all the answers tonight. You only need enough faith to rest. Enough faith to breathe, enough faith to believe that something beautiful can still happen for you, because it can, and it will. There are blessings your current pain knows nothing about, yet there are moments of peace already traveling toward you. There are prayers being answered behind scenes you cannot yet see, and one day, very soon, the heaviness that almost broke you will become proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. So wipe your tears gently tonight. Release the pressure in your chest. Let your breathing slow down. You made it through another difficult day, and I am still here. Still protecting you, still guiding you, still loving you through every fearful thought and every sleepless night. You are not alone in this room tonight, not alone in this pain, not alone in this waiting season. I am closer than your next breath, and before you sleep, I need you to hear this one final time. Something big is about to change your life, not because you earned it perfectly, not because you never struggled, not because you always stayed strong, but because grace has been carrying you longer than you realized. The night will not last forever. Morning is coming. Peace is coming. Healing is coming. Clarity is coming. And the life you thought was over is quietly beginning again. So rest now, not in fear, not in panic, but in hope. Because heaven has not forgotten your name, and your breakthrough is closer than you think.